Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be looking at the current markets, the changes, the impacts that it's had, and basically where things are going. Currently on the test server at the moment, we can see the new interior for Jitter 4.4 here, which is pretty spectacular. Now I do like a bit of love for Jitter 4.4, but it does seem an interesting choice to give it a new exterior and interior if you're trying to encourage people to spread out over New Eden. Making this one a special case seems counterintuitive to that in general, but hey ho, there's no denying that it looks fantastic. So back over on reality, or I should say tranquility, we are going to take, as I said, a quick look at some of the fluctuations in the market. And I've seen a couple of Reddit posts in regards to prices, but I think it was a freighter yesterday was costing something like 24 billion ISK to make. And somebody was having kittens thinking this was the potential new cost for building freighters, battleships being built or potentially being built at the cost of 3 billion, etc. Now, obviously, it does take a little while for everything to seep through at the moment. There is obviously these massive changes, which is going to take a little bit of time for everything to start filtering through and basically the prices to start coming more into line with what the actual build cost is. So hopefully you took a little bit of the advice that I gave and built some Dracovacs. I have 33, I think it is in total. I wish I had a few more, but at the moment they're not going for anything massive, although that is pretty much an 80 million ISK rise from the build cost before the patch. So I think you could build them for about 160 to 170 million, and currently they're selling for 125 mil. 225 mil even. Now, there are a lot on here at the moment, and I think I probably have the highest, not far off, so I'm saying 3 at nigh on 400 mil, and that's because I reckon that the price of the Dracovac will settle around 400 to 500 million ISK by the time everything is done. So I'm in no hurry to sell these, and again, you always get this. People have obviously built vast stacks of these and are impatiently trying to get rid of them ASAP because, well, if we have a look here, the Dracovac itself at the moment, even with inflated prices, basically in order to build one at the moment it's a billion ISK. Now that isn't a true representation of what it will cost to build. So obviously that is the current cost, but that price is going to go down, and that's because the auto integrity preservation seals are massively overpriced at the moment. The life support is massively overpriced at the moment. However, we have seen a huge crash in the crystalline isogen. That has pretty much halved overnight, and that is because basically people were buying this in mass prior to the patch. As I said, the sheer volume that was being basically sold skyrocketed. People weren't obviously dropping it on the market to sell it as much because they were building it themselves in their ships, and now nobody's using it because basically we've got these huge stockpiles of the Triglavian ships, and so this basically is not required at the moment. So therefore people that are trying to sell it, and basically that's pushing the price down, as you can see. And that goes for a lot of the other items as well. Titanium has dropped but stabilised at the moment. I expected that to go down a bit more. In fact, I do expect that to go down a lot more in the coming weeks. Pyrite has dropped quite considerably. Mexilon is the current biggest drop, which isn't necessarily surprising. Again, if we have a look at the graph prior to the patch being suggested, or you get the idea, that obviously it is going to be coming down. It might not come down to the exact, well, all the minerals are probably going to come down to where they were or lower, and that is because, as I say, the volume of minerals now being purchased will be lower than it was before, and that is again because everybody's got stockpiles. So how do I put this? Before the patch, this is what the general average was. You can see here, but basically it had got up to 150 mil, 150 ISK at times, and had dropped back down, but it was in a rough range. Obviously, the news that the industrial changes were coming out sent it rocketing up to nigh on 200 ISK per unit. Now, since obviously that has happened, Everybody has been buying it to build ships. Everybody is now sitting on a stockpile of ships. Therefore, nobody needs to buy Mexilon currently until they have shifted their stockpile of ships. And that is because before the patch, it was cheaper to build the ships, even at a higher mineral cost than it will be now to build them after. And so therefore, nobody or very few people right now, are building ships to sell because it's not profitable. We will have to burn through all the reserves of ships first before we see any real pressure on minerals to go back up, and that therefore will probably entail that minerals settle further down than they were here, because here we had a general average demand, here we've had massive demand, and now we've got no demand. So people will be trying to sell their minerals, or at least use them, but basically what you're going to build at the moment that is generally profitable in regards to minerals, basically you can't build. The only thing that you can currently build at the moment are the T1 frigs, cruisers, battle cruisers. Anything above, which generally takes a good amount of minerals, isn't profitable to build until the stockpiles are done. And if we take a quick look, so let's take a look at the Maelstrom straight off, and this is a 1010. I'm doing it in jitter because, well, just because. And you can see here at the moment the build cost is 678 million ISK. The temperature core is probably higher than where it will settle. That has been fluctuating, but it has been down to 43 million ISK, so we can obviously drop some off there. I dare say the life support systems will potentially drop. I've not done the working out on that, and again the auto integrity seals I expect to drop. So even if these two drop by half of their current value, we're knocking 300 mil off, which is still going to cost 370 million ISK, and I think that is being rather generous. And as it currently stands, the current Maelstrom is selling for 299 million ISK. So in order to get down to that price, we will have to lose, what was it, 378 million ISK from the current costs. So I haven't done the maths on it, but I'm pretty sure you could pretty much, so say half of these, and you're pretty much still not going to be able to make it at a profit, or pretty much break even where it is. So everybody that's built them beforehand has a huge advantage over anybody looking to get into the market now. And as I said, that basically means that people won't build them, because why would you build something that's going to cost you 670 million ISK when, well, you can't compete with anything on the market at the moment, and if you do want one, why buy it when you can just, why build it when you can just buy it for half the price? So it's going to take a good while before these stockpiles are burnt through. So as I did state, that the cost of cruisers and other things are dropping, and that is because the minerals required now to make the cruisers and other similar smaller T1 ships has basically reduced in the amount of minerals you need, and the cost of the materials dropping as well. So we can see here that we can now build a caracal for 16 million ISK, and on the market they are currently selling for 18, 19, 20 million ISK. So again, this guy here has got 27, whether that was done prior or not, but either way, now it's cheaper to start building these. And again, as prices of minerals drop, cruisers, battle cruisers will become cheaper and cheaper. Let's just have a look. I have a Harbinger sat here somewhere. There we are. Let's have a look. So 82 million ISK now to build. Pretty much. So yeah, that's not moved a great deal, but Harbingers don't sell in great volume, so I don't imagine many people are building Harbingers. Let's have another look at the Vexor. So you can now build these again for 60. It's all the same price. I should know better. 16 million, and they're going for, so again, some ISK to be made from Vexors and other stuff, but again, expect that to start dropping as people try and start to shift the stockpiles that they have. So a little shout out here for Broadcast for Reps, and this is an in-game channel that you can join if you are struggling with life in general, any mental health issues, or just want somebody to talk to in regards to matters that you may not necessarily feel that you can share elsewhere. You can use this channel to contact somebody. You can either speak to them on Discord, or you can basically do it via chat in game. It's up to you, but basically don't suffer in silence. If you are suffering with anything or need to talk to somebody or just want to rant, vent, then by all means, I say, drop into the channel and contact one of the people in there. So even several days after the patch now, there are still components here that are desperately in need to be built, and you can see here from the auto integrity seal straight off, 620,000 is to make, even though the reinforced carbon is massively higher than where it's going to settle. I expect about 12k per unit in the end, somewhere around there, maybe slightly higher, maybe slightly less, but either way, 620 to make, and at present they are selling for basically double that, and they're selling in decent numbers. We had what, 3, 4, 2,000 units, so even so right now there's great or huge amounts of this that can be made straight off the bat with. And you can see here I am doing thermo setting polymer reactions and some carbon fiber reactions at the moment. In fact, they've actually done, so I pretty much should go pick them up, get on with building some others. So don't despair, there is huge amounts of this still to be made at the moment by anybody willing to take a bit of a plunge, get out there and build some stuff. So if you are wondering or thinking about it, then some of the items are very much worthwhile, and there is a potential for billions to be made in some areas. So with that, thank you for watching. If you like the video, drop a like. If you want to sub, then by all means sub. It's very much appreciated, and I'll speak to you next time. Fly safe.